So we have seen the list, right? How to define the list. So we define the list like this, right? This is the list. And we know basically how to retrieve the value from the list. Let's say if you want to retrieve the value from the list or define the list, so this is the first way to define the list, right? So if you print names, if you right click and run this, it will be Chinmay Sarika Purva. Okay. If you print type type print type of names, then it will be list. Similarly, another way to define the list would be like this. There is a list constructor. You can also define the list with this, right? And you can pass the value to it to create a list. You print names, right click and run. Again, a list will be created. So using the constructor, this is basic way. uh, we like type method one, and this is that's a method two. You need to know this is method two. You need to know the two operations with like four operations with any data type, right? So first operation you should be knowing is how to retrieve the data, right? So how to retrieve the data? So if you want to retrieve the data from the list, right? So you will say because it stores the value by index, no? Stores the value by index. So you retrieve something like this. Print names of 0, right? If you run this now, you will get RAM, right? So this is basically how you retrieve the data using the index value. In the case of list, you can update the value also, right? You can add the elements to the list also. Let's say, so how you add the element to the list? Anyone? If you want to add the element to the list, there is a append method, right? Okay.
Okay.
So this is basically the how you retrieve the value. There is a way to add the value to the list.
Just to confirm, we can use extend also, right? If we
Yeah,
have to like, yeah.
yeah, that is extending the list, right?
Okay,
Adding
this
the
is like
element.
add
Yeah,
would
it's
be aware.
adding the element. So it will be names dot append and then another value. Let's say Sham. This is update the list. So simple way would be names dot 0 equal to submit. And if you want to delete, okay, the delete operation would be names dot move. So these things, so this is about what? Basic things about the what you say list. When you talk about the tuple is of fixed length, okay? Very similar to list, but of fixed length. What I mean by the fixed length is this. First, we need to understand how to define a tuple. So there are multiple ways to define a tuple. So you define the tuple like this. You say tuple A equal to round bracket 1, 2, 3. Let's say this is tuple, right? If you right click, if you print this, you will print tuple. But if you check the type, it will be, it belongs to the class tuple. So you say tuple A, right click and run. This is class tuple. Then another way of defining tuple would be constructor only. You can define tuple with constructor. So tuple, and you can pass any iterable to it. You can pass another tuple to it or another list to it. Okay, any iterable will do. So let's say I'm passing here, let's say names string. So now if you print again, if you see, if you again check it, it will be tuple again. So if you right click and run this, this is again tuple. The third way of defining tuple would be tuple c equal to, if I just put comma, if I just put comma also after one this, it will be tuple. So if I just print it, if you say tuple c, and if you print type, class tuple. So these three ways you can define tuple. Now what is the difference between list and tuple, right? Difference between list and tuple. So first thing, tuples also stored the value by index. Let's define this. Let's define a tuple where I have three values: Pune, Bangalore, Mumbai. Let's say, and if I just print this, okay. If I print cities of 0, just to confirm this that it stores the value by index, I will right click and run this. See, it should give you Pune, right? So it stores the value by index, right? If you try to update or retrieve, if you try to retrieve, yeah, retrieve the value. So yeah, you can retrieve like this only, right? If I basically write here, let's say print, and if I say length of tuple, so length function will give me the number of elements inside the tuple. So if I say length of cities, if I right click and run this, length of cities minus
So
1,
you're using cities two times, right?
length of cities, no, it should be, yeah, length of cities value will be the number of elements inside this. So number of elements will be
Mm-hmm.
3, right? So here it will be 3. 3 minus 1 will be 2. And 3 minus 1 will be 2. And cities of 2 will have Mumbai, right? So if I right click, I will be getting the last element, right? Mumbai. Okay. So retrieving is the same. Okay. Because it's over the value by index. Now if I can I update the value of, no, we cannot update the value of a tuple. So if you say cities of 0 equal to, let's say Varza. So this is not feasible, right? You cannot update the value. Item assignment is not, see, tuple object does not support item assignment. So you cannot update. There is no way to add the value. So you cannot add the value. Not possible.
Will tuple allow duplicates?
Yeah, tuple allow duplicates. No problem with duplicates. Okay. So update not possible. Adding new element not possible. Adding the new element not possible. Not possible. And then deleting the element. Deleting the element not possible. Tuple allow duplicates. Allow duplicates. Okay. So this is the case with the tuple. It's of fixed length, right? Let's say if it again I will define another tuple. So let's say I will take this as program to today. Anyways, we need to achieve the operations, right? Let's say for example, so we can do it. Let's say I define another tuple of country where I have mentioned India. So first we'll look at the retrieve operation, right? How you basically retrieve. So you can retrieve again. I'm again switching back to four operations. How will I achieve four the operations in tuple? Right? If I want to print, I will retrieve by index. This is how can I retrieve, right? Right click and run. It will be India. Need to comment this out or it will throw you the error. Right click, run India. This is the way to retrieve the value. The another way would be using the loops, right? Using loop, using for loop. Because it shows the value by index, the loop will be similar to what we have seen in list. Using range, so one for loop will be using range function and another would be on the loop without using range function. So one would be using range function, another would be without range function. So using range function is similar, right? For x in range of, what is the range? Length of country. So if you just print x, you will get all the index, right? Right, they can run. So you'll be getting length. So you will be getting index, right? What are index x? This, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you print country of 0, right click and run, you'll get India. But if you say country of x, so every time the loop changes, the value of x keeps on changing. The value of x will be 0 for the first time. So country of 0 will be India. The value of x will be 1 for the next time. So country of 1 will be Sri Lanka. The value of x will be 2. Country of 2 will be Bangladesh. Value of x will be 3. Country of 3 will be Australia. And country of 4 will be Japan. Okay. So this is the first. Second will be another loop using the range function. So it is very simple. For item in tuple, what is the tuple name? Tuple name is country. Print item. So if you right click and run this, so you will again print the every element of tuple. Right. So this is the way we can basically retrieve the value using the index, and then basically you also have a way to basically loop through it, right? Let's say I'm again bringing that tuple down. Let's say if I want to slice, let's say I'm checking for how it like slicing work with it. So let's say I say one of one colon, right? If I right click and run, I'm expecting all the values from Sri Lanka to Japan. See, so slicing is also allowed, right? Similar to what you have seen in slicing. So country of 1, 2. So this is the start position, let's say start index, and this is end index. So when I talk about start index, let's say if I just pass the start index as 1, so it will, and not passing the end index, it will start from here. So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is, let's say, this is -1, this is -2, this -3, this is -4, and this is -5. So you have seen this. So if you just pass the start index and not passing the end index, so it will start with Sri Lanka till the end, right? So if you right click and run, if you basically let's say pass, you start index is this and this is the end index, right? That's it 3. Not passing the start index, just passing the end index. So it will start from 0 by default and it will go till Australia with not include Australia. So India, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh will be the output. India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. Exactly the same as it works in list. So let's say if you say the range to be 1 to 3, so it will start with 1, go till 3, will not include 3, so Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Similarly, we can have slicing with negative value. Let's say if I say -1, so it will start with 0, go to -1, will not include -1, so it will include India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Australia. Let's say if you just want to retrieve the value with the minus, so let's say for example I say -3, so it will retrieve me the element at -3, that is Bangladesh. If you go have to go like first value to be positive and then second value to be negative, let's say it will start with -3, go till 4, which is Japan will not include 4, so it will give you the result as -3 and 2, so -2, so it will give you Bangladesh and Australia. Another another combination would be you start with the positive and go till negative. So 1 to -1. So 1 to -1 it will go. It will not include -1 and index value not included. So it will give you Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Australia. So here is end value not included. I will just write it not included. Right again on this. And if you say country, then if you write country and if you say country and you take deliberately take the values in reverse order where the end index is behind start index. Let's say like this -1, 2, let's say -4. So this is start index and this is end index. I think it will give you blank tuple. Like it gives you the blank list, it will give you blank tuple. So slicing is very similar to what we have seen in list also. Let's say this is the second program. So we are done with retrieving the things, right? How you retrieve the things with index, then you can loop through. And also there is a way to basically do it with the slicing. Let's move how you can update. Conventionally, you cannot update value, right? So this is let's say program 3. and you want to update. So you cannot update directly to tuple, right? So let's say, for example, I define one tuple of flowers and I say lily, jasmine, and rose. And you want to update this tuple. So how will you update? Let's say print type of flowers. So if you see, you cannot update tuple directly, right? So if I right click and run, you see this is tuple, right? So you need to make this tuple to list, right? So you convert, you pass the value of this tuple to a list. So now the if you check for the flowers type, now if you check for the flowers type, you say print we right click and print flowers. So it will be lily, jasmine, and rose. But you see, if they are now square brackets, right? So we converted this tuple into list. If you want to print the type of it, you can also check. Also check. So it will basically belongs to type list now. So this belongs to type list now. Now you know you converted a tuple into the list, right? So you can update the value. So I update the value like this of flowers of 0. And instead of lily, I will say very good. Now you print it. You see the value updated, right? Right click run. You see the value updated. Now you again make it into tuples. How you can make it into tuple? Again pass that list to a tuple constructor. And then you can successfully convert that into back into tuple. So if you right click and run this, it is again tuple now. Similarly, if you can update like this, what you need to do, you need to first take a tuple, make it to the list, update in the list, and make again convert that back to tuple. Similar is the case when you want to delete, okay, or similar will be the case when you want to say add value to tuple, add the value to tuple, delete the value from tuple. In both of these cases, what you need to do, in both of these cases, you need to basically make it into the list, then do it. Let's say we'll just take this example only, we'll just bring that here also. Now if you want to delete the value, so there is no method on tuple to delete the value. So what you need to do, you need to convert that to the list. So this will basically convert it into the list, right? I will call that list flowers only. So now it is converted to the list. On the list, you have the method. You can delete the value by index, or you can directly delete the last value. Let's say pop will basically remove the last element. If you pass index, it will remove the element by index. Directly I'm passing the so flowers.pop, so it will remove the last rows. Now if you print the list again, the last element will be gone, right? So print, right, take and run. So last element will be gone, right? And now again you make that back to the tuple. So this way you can delete the element from the tuple by making it into the list, removing the element, and again making that into a tuple. Right click and run. Yes. So now if you print it, this is tuple. Right click. Tuple. Now let's say if you want to add the value, again if you want to add the value, you just need to do these two lines where you define the tuple, you make it to the list, you add the value with append, right? There's a way append. So let's say appending lily, jasmine. You added the value again. You make that back to the tuple again. Again, these flowers will be converted back to tuple. And you just printed the tuple again. So this way also you can add the value. Directly you cannot do it on tuple. You just need to make that first into the list. So this is about the cut operations. Is this fine? Then you have to check the length. You want to check the length of a tuple. So you say print program. Let's say print length and you pass any tuple to it. So let's say you pass flowers to it. So it will give you the number of elements. So see, this is the number of elements. 4 number. So obviously we added this, so it was 3 before, but now it was 4. So 4 elements. This much is clear.
Yes.
Okay. And you have unpacking portable. So you have unpacking portable. So this is, let's say for example, you define one tuple, the animals tuple. You define, let's say tiger, lion, rabbit. Yeah, it could be simple. Let's say now this is tuple, right? So if you print animals, right click and run. So this is basically tuple. If you print type of animals, so it will be tuple. Now if you want to take each of this element of tuple into a separate variable, you can do it like this also. So animals of 0, I would and put that into a variable a. That's it. So what will the value of a now? The value of a will be tiger because index 0 has the tiger value. So if I right click and run this, it is basically tiger. Right? But I have to write 3 lines to get this into a different element, right? I can directly do this. This is called as unpacking. Okay. So what you can do, you can simply write the tuple name, and on the left side you can directly write the variable names because it stored the value by index. So let's say for example, if I say a1, comma a2, comma a3, comma a4. So in this case, a1 will be tiger. Now these 4 values are coming into this four variables. So a1 will be tiger, a2 will be lion, a3 will be rabbit, and a4 will be bear. If I right click and run, see tiger, lion, rabbit, bear. So this is called as unpacking. I am giving you another example of unpacking. Let's say for example, if I right click and run, so you will get all the 4 elements into different variable. If you unpack, so this was the first example of unpacking. Now if let's say if you unpack like this, where you say star asterisk a2. So what does it means? That the first value will be coming into a1, which is tiger, and rest of all you are collecting in a2, and a2 will be list. So unpacking, so let's say this animals, I'm unpacking these animals, so first value will be coming here, so tiger will be coming here in a1, rest of all will go as a list into a2, lion, rabbit, and bear. So now if you just print the variables again, if you say A1, if you right click and run Tiger, but if you print A2, the rest of the elements will be collected into a list. So if I say A2, I right click and run, see, it is collected to the list. Okay. Another example would be, let's say I say A1, then I say collect the middle elements into A2 and then A3. So now if you do it like this, so now A1, then star A2 and A3. So the first value will be going into A1, the last value will be going into A3. The remaining middle ones will be going into A2 as collection, as a list, right? So if I print A1, if I right click and run, so it is tiger. If I basically put A2, so it will be lion and rabbit. And if I just print A3, it will be bear. It is bear. Fine. This is unpacking. Now addition and multiplication on tuple. So how you do addition and multiplication on tuple? Okay. Let's say for example, I have a tuple A. So I define another tuple A and I have tuple B also. So it has 1, 2, 3 and it's a 4, 5, 6. And if you do the addition, let's say you say print tuple A plus tuple B. So it will concat, it will basically add the values of both tuple and another output will be again a tuple with all 6 values. See, let's say this is addition, right? If you add two tuples, it will basically give you a big tuple with the adding all the elements of tuple A to the tuple B. If you want to multiply, so if you want to check the multiply operation, so if you say multi tuple A into 2, let's say in this way, not tuple into tuple, tuple into any number. So you say tuple into 2, it will give you 1 to 3, 1 to 3. Okay, so let's print it. It basically gives you 1 to 3 and again 1 to 3. So if you right click and run this, it will be 1 to 3, 1 to 3. Okay, so this is multiplication, addition and multiplication of tuples. And the last thing in the tuples will be methods. So list has many methods. Okay, tomorrow we'll see set which has many methods, but tuple has only two methods. So if I didn't define again another tuple, say countries, and I pass it UK, Australia. Again I type UK. Again I type Pakistan. I type Bharat. Again I type Sri. If I say countries and if I say index and I want the index of, let's say, Pakistan. So it will be 0, 1, 2 and 3. Right, so this will return me an integer value. I stored it into Q1. If I print Q1, so this will be 3 because at index 3 is the Pakistan. If I want count the another method on the list, which is the last method, it is just count, right? So I want to count the element. Let's say I want to count how many UKs are there inside this tuple. So it will also return you an integer value which I stored in Q2. And if I print Q2, I will be getting the same. So if I right click and run this, it will be 2. because there are two UKs, right? Count this element. This is all about tuple.